In certain animal populations, the survival of the entire species relies heavily on each and every individual. Such is the critical situation for species like the jaguar, whose wild population is estimated to be around 15,000 members at most. Therefore, the news of Xena, a pregnant jaguar, brought immense excitement among Spanish zookeepers. The potential arrival of new offspring held the promise of preserving and sustaining the species. However, when tragedy unexpectedly struck, plunging the zookeepers into despair, a remarkable event unfolded, rekindling their fading hope. When a group of veterinarians at a zoo in Madrid, Spain, noticed Xena the jaguar was pregnant, they could barely contain their excitement. In no time at all, they would be welcoming brand new cubs into their facility. But shortly after Xena gave birth, the veterinarians realized something awful. Xena had killed her 2 cubs before anyone could stop her. It wasn't unusual for a stressed mother jaguar to exhibit that behavior, but that didn't make it any less tragic. What made the tragic circumstances even worse was that the jaguar populations, which were concentrated in Central and South America, had been rapidly diminishing over the past several decades. Any addition to the dipping numbers would have been an amazing boost. So it came as a relief when the veterinarians learned Xena was still pregnant with a 3rd cub. But in order to keep this cub from suffering the same fate as the previous 2, they were going to need some serious help. The El Bosque Veterinary Hospital in Madrid stepped in. After examining Xena themselves, the team decided she'd have to undergo a C-section in order to save the unborn cub. Of course, this would be a risky procedure for a cat of her size. Still, the veterinarians were determined to deliver this 3rd cub safely. So with the help of a 12-person team, the risky operation began. One thing was for sure, this wasn't going to be easy. Just as quickly as the operation had begun, it was over. They had removed the tiny male cub from his mother. But little did they know that there were serious complications ahead. The little cub didn't appear to be breathing, and the team feared he was stillborn. Still, they weren't about to give up. If there was even a remote chance they could revive him, they would do whatever it took. One of the veterinarians scooped up the cub, grabbed a pump, and began performing emergency CPR. All the while, another assistant did her best to press on the cub's chest, hoping his heart would start beating. Sadly, it didn't appear as though the pump was working. In a last-ditch effort, one of the veterinarians, Dr. Patricia Garrido, began administering mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. All anyone could do at that moment was pray. All the while, an assistant felt around the cub's body, hoping to detect even the faintest heartbeat. This process continued for a full 8 gut-wrenching minutes. That was when something miraculous happened. They detected a heartbeat, yet there was no time to celebrate. They needed the cub, whom they named Ali, to continue to breathe. They cleaned him, gave him a series of shots, and placed him in an incubator. Ali could have died in 8 minutes if it was not for the efforts of the team, explained Antonio Rodriguez, one of the operating veterinarians. I do not have words to explain the emotion. I'm really happy with my team's work, and we got a great reward. The experience of seeing an animal start living and breathing after our help is really amazing. It is indescribable, Antonio added. But Ali wasn't going back to live with his mother. Instead, he'd need more human assistance. Fearing that Ali's mother could possibly cause him harm, the veterinarians decided it'd be best to bring the cub to a different zoo altogether. This meant that he would need to begin regular bottle feeding and have constant care. He would also need a surrogate mother. After Ali's surgery, Xena was returned to her original zoo for recuperation while her keepers searched for a permanent mother figure to care for Ali. Thankfully, Xena's recovery progressed positively. Eventually, a couple named Olavo and Tahom stepped forward, eager to foster Ali as he grew stronger. Shortly thereafter, Ali was transported to their home, where he began to thrive. The playful cub not only enjoyed typical feline antics, but also delighted in swimming, a trait common among big cats. However, as 2 months passed, Ali outgrew their living space, necessitating a new arrangement. Fortunately, another benefactor emerged swiftly, offering Ali not just a new home, but also a renewed opportunity for a fulfilling life. There was a good chance Ali wouldn't have survived if it wasn't for the quick thinking of the zoo staff and action of the veterinarians and nurses. However, they knew it would take more than one rescued cub to save the jaguar population. They had to consider the gripping case Diuria. The 11-month-old jaguar cub had 18 shotgun pellets stuck in her young body after she was shot in an Ecuadorian forest. She could still growl just fine and could move her neck and head somewhat. But that was it. She was totally paralyzed. Maria Cristina Silly, a veterinarian at Darwin Animal Doctors in Galapagos, Ecuador, where Diuria was being treated, believed that the little jaguar had been shot by farmers in Xuxufindi, Ecuador. This is an area where people have cattle, and jaguars are known for going into farms and killing cattle, so the locals kill the jaguars to preserve the cattle, said Maria. She added that since Diuria's mother wasn't with her, she had probably been shot and killed. It's most likely that Diuria collapsed after running through the forest. If she had not been found and treated, she wouldn't have survived, Maria continued. Paralyzed, she would not have been able to drink water and hunt or find food for herself. Luckily, it didn't take long for some other locals to find the poor jaguar and put her in the back of their pickup truck. They drove for 5 hours to get her to an animal hospital at Universidad San Francisco de Quito, in the capital of Ecuador. While at the hospital, Dr. Andres Ortega and his team of veterinarians were concerned that Diuria wouldn't survive due to the severity of her injuries. Even if she did, she probably wouldn't be able to walk ever again. Nevertheless, the team of veterinarians, led by Dr. Ortega, were determined to do everything to get Diuria back into shape, no matter how unlikely her chances for recovery may have been. If she could survive 18 shotgun pellets, she could power through anything. She needed 2 main surgeries to remove the pellets and the areas that were damaged in her spine, said Maria. That damage was able to be fixed by removing the little cushion between the 2 vertebrae in the neck. The veterinary team closely monitored the jaguar post-surgeries, but their worries dissipated when Diuria miraculously moved her legs. Maria exclaimed that her actions indicated a positive outcome, and even the smallest movements held immense significance. With each passing day, Diuria grew stronger and more vibrant, recovering in a cozy cage at the animal hospital. The staff kept her engaged by providing shredded paper for play. After approximately a month, she was transported to a larger outdoor enclosure in Lago Agrio, Ecuador. Maria declared that she was 95% recovered and witnessed Diuria running around with vigor as if every day were her last. While her recovery was gradual, Diuria diligently practiced her movements and maintained limb strength through daily activity. Fortunately, staying active came naturally to her, and she developed a fondness for swimming and resumed hunting for prey. Meanwhile, the veterinary team holds a confident belief that they will soon be able to reintroduce the jaguar into its natural habitat. This news brings great joy not only to Diuria but also to her entire species, as jaguars are currently classified as near threatened. As the moment for Diuria's highly anticipated release arrived unexpectedly, she emerged stronger and prepared to conquer the jungle. Her future shines with promise, yet also holds an air of uncertainty. The doctors can only hope that Diuria will navigate the wilderness without encountering any troubles. Having endured so much, Diuria undoubtedly epitomizes the spirit of survival.